Imagine this. What if the internet had never existed? Our lives, deeply intertwined with technology, our luxury of instant access to information, and our ability to connect with people from all over the world? What would life look like without any of that? The internet isn't just a tool for communication, it's a revolution that has transformed every aspect of life, from business to education, from social connections to entertainment. But with this innovation came new dependencies and challenges. In this series, we'll imagine a world without the internet. We'll explore how communication might have evolved, how businesses would operate, how people would be entertained, and how social movements would take shape. Would a world without the internet be more peaceful, or simply harder to live in? Get ready to search for answers and bring the echoes of the past into the present. This journey will push the limits of your imagination, and it all starts now. In a world without the internet, communication would be nowhere near the speed we know today. Messages wouldn't arrive in seconds, they'd take days, maybe even weeks. No emails, no instant messaging, just handwritten letters and landline phones. Without social media, digital friendships, or video calls, people would rely more on face to face conversations and real in person connections. But physical distance would put real limits on how often and how easily we could stay in touch. Long distance relationships, family bonds, even business meetings, all of it would be harder. Maybe we'd build deeper, more patient relationships, or maybe loneliness would become even more common. We're exploring how communication has evolved through time and what it might have looked like if the internet had never come along. You open your eyes to a brand new day, but your hand doesn't instinctively reach for a phone because the internet was never invented. The only way to find out what's happening in the world: wait for the morning paper. Tune into the radio, catch the evening news, don't miss it. If something major happened, you might hear about it hours later, maybe the next day, because information doesn't come instantly anymore. It moves slowly, deliberately. No social media, no live streams. You only hear what's shared, and only when it's shared. But what if the story spreading isn't even true? It might take days to uncover the facts, and in the meantime, the thing everyone's talking about may have never happened at all. Still, think about this. Maybe that slowness would have brought a bit more respect for information, less noise, more focus. We're stepping into a world where knowledge doesn't rush in, it arrives slowly, steadily. And we're asking, is instant access to information more valuable? Or is it the patience it takes to reach the truth? Without the internet, education would look nothing like it does today. Online classes, digital libraries, endless resources just one click away. All of that would be nothing more than a dream. Students would spend hours in physical libraries, flipping through books to find what they need. Assignments wouldn't start with a search bar, but with a stack of textbooks. There'd be no such thing as remote learning. Geography would deepen inequality. Many students would be limited to the schools closest to where they live. Accessing knowledge wouldn't be about speed, it would be about patience. Teachers wouldn't be able to interact with students outside the classroom. Learning would be confined to four walls. Maybe that would mean fewer distractions, but it would also mean less access, less freedom. We're imagining what education might look like in a world without the internet, and what we gain or lose when the digital is taken out of the equation. In a world without the internet, the way we do business would be completely different. Faxes would replace emails, meetings, only face to face. Building global connections wouldn't take seconds, it would take weeks. Without e commerce, shopping would only happen in physical stores. Small businesses might be stronger, big brands more local. No digital marketing, just ads in newspapers and on TV screens. Remote work wouldn't even be a concept. In times like a pandemic, entire industries could come to a halt. Economic collapse might have been inevitable. But maybe, just maybe, that slower pace would have brought a more human rhythm to work. Maybe an offline world would have meant less pressure, less stress. We're exploring the pros and cons of a business world without the internet, what we'd gain and what we'd leave behind. If the internet didn't exist, traveling would be far more complicated, maybe even more exciting. You couldn't book a flight online, and hotel reservations would mean spending long minutes on the phone. Instead of last minute deals, trips would have to be planned weeks in advance. Without navigation apps, journeys would rely on paper maps and handwritten directions. Getting lost would be a real possibility, and travel could easily turn into an unpredictable adventure. You couldn't just search for nearby restaurants or best hotels. You'd have to discover them by wandering through unfamiliar streets. But maybe that uncertainty would make traveling feel more meaningful. It wouldn't be about following routes, it would be about embracing detours. Together, we imagine what it would mean to be on the road in a world without the internet. A world where plans take a back seat and exploration leads the way.
Managing money would be a whole lot harder without the internet. No mobile banking apps, no online transfers, no digital wallets. Even checking your balance or paying a bill would mean a trip to the bank, not just for major transactions, but for the simplest tasks. Credit card applications would be sent through the mail. Approvals could take weeks. Cryptocurrencies wouldn't exist. Digital investment platforms would never have been created. Financial decisions would move slowly, and data analysis would stay in the hands of experts. But maybe that slowness would have forced people to build a more mindful relationship with money. Spending might be more cautious. Debt, taken on with greater care. We're imagining how our connection with money might look in a world without digital finance. What we lose in speed, we might gain in intention.
What if the internet had never existed? Maybe the world would be slower, simpler. But what if one day it suddenly disappeared? What if we woke up and the world was no longer connected? No news, no messages, no remote work. Streets go quiet, offices go dark, banks shut down. Our digital identities erased. Everything we built online, our networks, our knowledge, our relationships, gone in an instant. People pour into the streets, confused. They don't know how to communicate anymore. Making eye contact feels strange. Asking for directions feels awkward. Because our habits, our instincts, even the way we think, have all been wired into the digital world. This isn't just a world without the internet. It's a world that has lost its sense of identity, direction, and pace. So maybe the real question is, did we lose the internet, or have we been slowly losing ourselves? As this series comes to a close, we're left with one final thought. If the connection breaks, what's left of us? The answer? We'll keep searching, because the real journey starts now. Thanks for watching.